Welcome to today's lecture on covering climate change and sustainability. I'm Fernando. In this session, we'll explore two key lessons: understanding the science behind climate change and examining journalism's role in promoting sustainability. By the end, you'll have a clearer view of how to report on these complex topics with both scientific accuracy and ethical integrity. First, we'll look at our objectives. Understand the basic science of climate change. 2. Discuss the greenhouse effect and global warming. 3. Address common misconceptions in climate science. 4. Explore how to responsibly report on climate science. These foundational points will help you as journalists to cover climate issues accurately. Basics of the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is essential to understanding climate change. Here's a quick breakdown. The greenhouse effect is a natural process that keeps Earth warm enough to sustain life. Greenhouse gases, like CO2 and methane, trap heat from the sun, which warms the planet. Without the greenhouse effect, Earth would be around 18 degrees Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius, instead of the average 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Celsius. It's crucial to highlight that while this effect is natural, human activities are intensifying it, causing more heat to be trapped and leading to global warming. Global warming and human impact. Now, let's look at global warming. This term refers to the steady rise in Earth's average temperature, primarily due to human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, agricultural and industrial activities. These activities release greenhouse gases, which enhance the natural greenhouse effect and contribute to global warming. An important example here is the Keeling curve, a graph showing the sharp increase in atmospheric CO2 since the late 1950s. This visualization is powerful in showing the direct link between human activity and CO2 levels. Climate science consensus. One of the most important points to convey in climate reporting is the scientific consensus on human-driven climate change. Over 97% of climate scientists agree that human activities are the primary cause of global warming. This is backed by major studies from the IPCC and other organizations, which show that human actions have caused an unprecedented rate of warming over the last 2,000 years. We can say confidently that there's no significant scientific debate about the reality of climate change. Our role as journalists is to highlight this consensus while responsibly addressing common doubts or misconceptions. Common misconceptions in climate science. Let's clear up some common misconceptions that often appear in climate discussions. 1. Climate has always changed naturally. While natural fluctuations occur, the current rate of change is due to human activity. 2. CO2 is just a small part of the atmosphere, so it can't be that harmful. Even in small amounts, CO2 is powerful at trapping heat, impacting the greenhouse effect. 3. Scientists disagree on climate change. This is a myth. Nearly all climate scientists agree on human-driven climate change. These misconceptions can be difficult to counteract, so it's essential for journalists to clarify them with research-backed information from reliable sources like the IPCC. Responsible reporting on climate change science. In our roles, it's vital to report on climate science responsibly. This means avoiding sensationalism, stay factual, and avoid exaggerating. Highlighting scientific consensus, show the strong agreement within the scientific community. Addressing misinformation, debunk myths using verified sources like IPCC, NASA, and NOAA. Providing context. Explain the relevance of climate change to diverse groups, whether it's the public, policymakers, or industry. Responsible reporting is critical for public understanding and trust. The rise of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, were established by the UN to create a sustainable future. There are 17 goals in total, covering topics from poverty and health to education and the environment. For environmental journalism, the most relevant goals are Goal 13, Climate Action, Goal 14, Life Below Water, Goal 15, life on land, and Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. Journalists play a critical role in holding governments and corporations accountable to these goals and informing the public about progress or setbacks. The SDGs are a roadmap for a sustainable future, and our reporting can bring attention to where efforts are succeeding or where more work is needed. Key areas for sustainability reporting. Now, let's break down 4 key areas of sustainability reporting. 1. Energy. This includes covering renewable energy sources like solar and wind and the decline of fossil fuels. In 2020, 29% of global electricity was from renewable sources, a number that journalists can track and report on as we move toward greener energy. 2. Food and agriculture. Sustainable practices like regenerative farming and reducing food waste are critical. We waste about 1/3 of all food produced, which has serious implications for the environment. 3. Waste management. Reporting on efforts to reduce, reuse, and recycle is essential as plastic and waste pollution grow. Plastic production has surged 20 times since the 1960s, reaching 380 million tons per year. 4. Transportation, covering electric vehicles, public transit innovations, and emission reductions. Transportation accounts for 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions, a key area for reducing carbon footprints. These areas are vital for creating awareness and driving change, which makes our work as journalists even more impactful. The journalist's role in sustainability reporting. Journalists have a unique position in advocating for sustainability. Informing the public, it's our job to educate on the benefits and challenges of sustainable practices. Highlighting innovation. We can spotlight innovations like new recycling technologies or renewable energy breakthroughs. Providing accountability. We also hold companies and governments accountable, especially when they make claims of sustainability. A good example is the New York Times investigation into companies' green pledges, which found that some promises fall short in practice. This kind of reporting provides transparency and informs the public about genuine versus misleading practices, balancing advocacy and journalism ethics. While reporting on sustainability, we should balance advocacy with ethical journalism. Advocacy in journalism. We can support sustainable practices without compromising on factual accuracy. Ethical journalism. We maintain objectivity by relying on verified information and presenting it honestly. Avoiding greenwashing. With the increase in green marketing, we should verify corporate claims about sustainability to avoid spreading misinformation. For instance, terms like carbon neutral are often misused, so journalists must investigate these claims thoroughly. Case study, reporting on renewable energy in Germany. Let's look at Germany as a case study in renewable energy reporting. Germany's Energiewende policy focuses on creating a low-carbon economy, achieving 41% of its electricity from renewable sources by 2021. Reporting focus, highlight both successes, like high renewable energy usage, and challenges, such as nuclear phase-out and grid stability. Outcome. Reporting on Germany's energy transition shows the feasibility of renewable solutions while addressing practical challenges. Case study, investigating greenwashing. Claims. Greenwashing is when companies make exaggerated or misleading sustainability claims. An example is when companies label products as eco-friendly or green without substantial evidence. Journalistic responsibility. Investigate these claims to see if they hold up. If they don't, expose the discrepancies. A 2020 EU study found that 42% of green claims in Europe were exaggerated, false, or deceptive. By exposing greenwashing, journalists help keep the public informed and protect the integrity of sustainability efforts. Practical exercise, reporting on a local sustainability effort. Here's an exercise to help you practice these skills. Choose a local sustainability initiative, such as a community garden or recycling program. Research the project's impact and assess whether it's truly sustainable. Consider these questions. What did you find challenging in verifying sustainability claims? How did you ensure your reporting was accurate and unbiased? This exercise will give you hands-on experience in sustainability reporting, from sourcing to verifying information. To summarize, we covered the science of climate change, the greenhouse effect, global warming, and the scientific consensus. Role of journalists in sustainability, including the importance of reporting on SDGs and sustainable practices. Balanced reporting, our ethical responsibility to cover sustainability accurately without sensationalism or bias. Now let's open the floor for questions. Feel free to ask about climate science, sustainability reporting, or the ethical balance we discussed. Put your answer in the comments.